Welcome to O-Talkin' with Dave. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you are doing well. Swell. I am top shelf myself. I love it. I am in a great mood. I'm in a giving mood. Yeah, which I was taught growing up. It's biblical, or maybe it's just a mom's way of telling me to calm down and quit being so selfish. It's more blessed to give than to receive. Well, I got to tell you, it took me a while to learn that one. Christmas time, you think of that. Oh, all your stuff. I had two sisters, and you go around and you count and stuff, and it's all about that. And that's normal. Shoot, when you're little, man, that's what it's for. Then you get older, and it's still great. But when people do stuff for you or give you something, it's a treat. My mom used to, when her and Dad would go travel, and it's passed down to my sisters. I don't know if anybody else calls it this in other families. You can let me know what your family called it. But when they would go somewhere, if they bring you something back, they say, I got you a happy. Got you a happy. Which, because a gift makes you happy. And that's what it is. I know my sister Debbie still does that. Got you a happy. You know what that meant. That might be just an O'Connor thing. I'm sure you'll tell me if it is. But I think therein lies the lesson behind giving. I am inundated, and I don't know, but especially burdened by people who just aren't happy. You can see that heaviness. You can tell something's wrong. And sometimes it's even, when things are going well, they have that fear of impending doom, of something gonna go wrong. And they're wired to the point to where it's hard for them to really enjoy the here and now. Some people can't enjoy what they got for fear of losing it. Other people, it's just a daily struggle. So I believe that, and I've tested it, and I'll tell you about it, but I believe truly the more you give, the more you get. Now, I'm older, and I learned this, I think I learned it fairly early. The great gift of somebody's time. Somebody gives you time. Everybody's so busy now. I remember when I was real young, I spent a lot of time with older people. They had time on their hands. I remember as I build my schedule and get so busy, I have less time. And when someone that's busy gives me their time, I understand that gift because it's so precious. It's fleeting. It goes away, but that is a gift. So you learn to appreciate it. But you learn the joy of giving something to somebody, giving them your time, giving them other things. So, you can have so many sayings about this, and I'm going to do the whole gambit of giving. I'm not talking about donating a ton of money to charity. I'm not talking about, tithing at church. I have feelings on all of that. I'm not talking about such big sacrifices that it really hurts you. Give till it hurt. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about being a good person, being cordial, being nice, being thoughtful. And we'll get into that. Got a lot of thoughts. I'm feeling all squishy today. I don't know. I guess my shirt and my hat really don't portray some softer side of Dave. I'm ready to No. I'm a kinder, gentler Dave. But don't take my word for it. I got some quotes. I love quotes. Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Oh, Winston. You're not just a rotund cigar smoking leader there. That's good. We make a life by what we give. No one has ever become poor by giving. Anne Frank said that. My goodness. Anne Frank in the closet hiding talks about giving. I love that. There's a great skit out there where one of the comedians, he gets Anne Frank and Helen Keller mixed up, and it's just hilarious. But every time I see Anne Frank now, I think about that. Anyway, then a couple of more. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. It's so nice. And too, I believe that too. Whatever you're gifted in, and then use it. Because if you don't use the gift, then you're just wasting it. And you may be the only one in these people's world that has that gift. So that's a good one. And then finally, I will not bludgeon you with quotes, but you have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you. I love that. I love that. Now, we're not talking, like I said, we're not talking monetary. We're not talking about giving away your car, anything like that. But I believe the more you give, the better you feel. If you're in a funk, do something nice as you go. Let's not go to do it, but as you go. And we'll talk to particulars, but stay with me here, because a lot of how we do today, it depends a lot on feeling. If we don't feel good, if we're worried about something, if something is on our mind and some stressor that we can't necessarily solve right now, there are some things that we can do by giving that will perk us up. When you see other people perk up because of some things you may have done or may not have done in the right kind of way, then you feel better. You're making a difference. And so giving, though, it has some effects on you. This is real world. I don't like to just talk in emotion and all about, touchy-feely feelings, things, emotions, and drama, all that. I like to dig into some facts. And you've heard some of these before, but there are some things that giving or generosity, it triggers. I mean, you got psychological mechanisms that are triggered. Giving, that it's called a helper's high. Isn't that crazy? It's it's endorphins being released when you give and somebody is grateful. You get that helper's high with an act of kindness, any kind of generosity. It's similar to what people, feel after exercise. I got to tell you, if you pick between me doing something kind for you and I get the same high that I got to run 5 miles to get, saddle up, buddy. I'll be very generous in that case. And then, just also the social connection. You may not even know this person, or you may, but it takes things to a different level, and it strengthens that bond or that connection. Whether it's, I don't know, you can go anything from donating or your time, or, you can donate money and all of that, but donating your time or helping a friend out, helping somebody move. People have helped me when in serious time crunch situations where I could probably figure this out, but I can call my buddy Steve and he'll not only have the tools, he'll help me do it. I don't know if he got a helper's high or not, but he saved me a couple of times. So that's the psychological well-being of that helping out. And then plus you're helping people, you feel good. But it's also, self-esteem booster. Helping others can make you feel more competent or capable, or, maybe I was having a bad day and somebody asked me for help. I was able to help. You know what? I was able to help that person. I'd be able to give to somebody like that. It put me in a better mood. And then you cannot underestimate the power of gratitude. Meaning, I'm grateful to be able to help you. And then your gratitude coming back for the help I gave, we both win. But those are all psychological things that giving triggers. And I'm going to talk about some, what I would call minor incidental giving still applies on the psychological side. And you can, the benefits can be measured. I mean, there are studies going all the way back to 2006 talking about stress reduction. It's, what's the word? Psychosomatic medicine. It means it's all in your head, psychosomatic. That's what I used to know. I mean, I can't remember where I first heard that, but yeah, that's what it is. But it showed individuals who gave of their time and resources, they have lower levels of stress. Volunteering, lower cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. Particularly in older adults. That's why when you see, older people working at different things, whether it's, at a local senior citizen center, or working with animals and pets, all the way to a lot of the places where I grew up, they would work in the polls, which, the political voting polls. I don't know that that's a big stressor there, but the relief and the stress relief comes from giving and being useful. People who give, it can be measured around happiness. There's something called the Journal of Happiness Studies. I'd like to see a cover of that. He's got a big smiley face. I could put Dave on the cover. Well, maybe not. But it talks about the pro-social spending, and that's spending money on other people. It's so giving in that regard. They measured the happiness, and people they would do surveys before and after, and different times they would notice certain behaviors by people. And they found that people were happier when they spent money on someone else than if they bought something for themselves. That doesn't sound like it makes sense, does it? But in controlled environments where they would go out, and I heard one study where they gave somebody money. Okay, hey, it's Christmas time. You can help you out. Here's $100. Just meet me at the, out front afterwards and tell me what you spent it on. And they found people were happier when they bought, and it didn't matter how big of an item or how expensive an item was. It's just the fact that they did something for somebody else made them happier. Hey, I can see it. I can totally see it. And in 2013, there was a study at the Carnegie Mellon University. Sounds like Mellon. Isn't that the guy from, isn't that Ronnie Dangerfield from Back to School? I would like to think so. No, it's not. But talking about how giving helps your physical health. People that volunteer or do things for other people, their blood pressure is lower than those who don't. So, being able to give like that has other benefits. Usually they're a little more active. They're using their brain more. They're doing a lot of different things. And those people who take time out during a busy schedule, when they go back, they think about that. They remember those things where they may forget some of the tasks they had for work. That's fantastic. And people who are giving and generous live longer. I mean, I've got studies I could just trust me instead of me talking through the studies. And then another thing, and this is near and dear to my heart. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. It's a scratch, not a pick. But talking about keeping your brain busy. Those people who are generous and are giving and not just thinking about themselves and their problems, they're having a lesser degree of the brain challenges, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, or on that, because they're living outside of themselves more. And it's there's a lot more study to be done there. But all of these things, are they not all good? The psychological, the physical, as far as longevity. If you don't believe me, believe the doctors. And then you just your body's response to it. Oxytocin. It's the love hormone. Boom, chicka pow pow, chicka pow. But it's released when we engage in social bonding and doing things for other people. Your body pushes this out. And the love hormone, I went a little porno on you, but that's the affection. You create that bond. And with that, lower depression. And it can be measured. That's fantastic. Then you've got some broader psychological stuff. Self-determination theory. That's when people have three basic psychological needs: competence, autonomy, and relatedness. All of that is around helping people you feel connected, so that's the relatedness, capable, which is the competence, and free to make meaningful choices. That's the autonomy. So this is all, and I feel like I'm almost overselling the fact that it makes you feel better, it makes you happier, and it's good for you mentally and physically. I mean, if I was talking about a pill that you could take, I should do an infomercial. I should put all this stuff on the label, do an infomercial, and put sugar pills in a big bottle and make it look great. Put my picture on the front and say, this is going to do these things. You'd buy it. You'd buy it if all you had to do is this. Well, what if it was free? It's free. Take this. Do this. It's free. You're going to feel better. You're going to live longer. You'd be crazy not to do it, right? All righty. We'll hold that thought. Because some people, they worry. They're worried. I get it. I know people that way. I mean, some people close to me are that way. And so, why do some people not give? I've told you all the things it does for you. Yeah, but Dave, you're so Pollyanna in some of these things. Be realistic. So let's talk about why somebody don't give. And one of the reasons is, okay, well, what if I run out? If I'm giving food, well, what if I don't have enough to eat myself? If I'm giving money, well, what if I run out of money? I'm giving my time. Oh, but if I do that, I can't do this. So some people, they worry about that. I mean, and that mindset is there. I'm going to show you how to overcome it. I'm going to show you how to overcome that. Also, in donations, and this bothers me, a lot of people don't donate money because, okay, how's this going to be used? Is this homeless guy just going to go buy drugs? Realistic, I wouldn't call it a fear, but reasons why you don't do it. Reasons why you don't give. You can give other things besides money. A nonprofit only has to report that 10% go to the cause, which just gripes my cookies. And a lot of places it's less than that. They cook the books and do less than that. So people, skeptical people. I don't know how this is going to be used or whatever. Okay, all right. I got your answers there. You can I still got that magic pill. Lack of, some people they just don't understand. Like, meaning they don't give because they are not aware that it's needed that much. I didn't know that left-handed bricklaying nuns have the horrors of carpal tunnel and it's going unnoticed. Well, now you know. So that kind of thing. It's kind of an excuse, honestly. Just the lack of awareness. I've got the answer to that because my answers are going to deal with stuff you deal with every day. And then, the what's in it for me crowd. Yeah, I get that. If it's small, that's... First thing is, what's in it for me? Well, first of all, you don't have a giving heart, and you should, your mama didn't raise you right. The second thing would be, I can only give this much. It won't make a difference. It won't make a difference. Bull hockey. I gotcha. A lot of people are just, they're negative. They're thinking about being scammed. Kind of like that. I'm not sure it's going to go to the right cause, but what? Why do that? They're not gonna believe me. They're not gonna take it seriously. They're gonna think, they're not gonna realize I'm sincere. It's not gonna hit the target. So, what's the use? Those kind of people? Yeah, those are wonderful people, aren't they? Then, some people are just so overwhelmed with what they've got going on. I'm so busy. I've got so much to do. I would love to do that, but I remember that, the but then, and then I can't find the time. Well, not only did you butt me, you didn't find the time because you don't care enough or you're so unorganized. All those reasons. I wad all of that up and throw it away. And I throw it behind me so I don't have to look at it. Please. It's valid though. I'll talk you past it. Then just your goals. It doesn't fit me right now. It doesn't fit my financial goals, or I don't want to appear to come across this way, or I'm above that, or just, thinking more of yourself. And I just told you, you're going to feel better. But there's some people that's why they don't do it. And then outside of, people blame lack of time, just different things. There's a whole lot of excuses. I hope by the time we finish here in a minute, I will have addressed all of those excuses, because I'm talking about a win-win with the giving. I'm talking about the gift that keeps on giving to both the recipient and the giver. I absolutely believe there is medicine in this type of thing, and I can prove it. So what are some ways? You can give without it costing you a ton of money, costing you a ton of time, costing you a ton of resources, any of that? It's just be a good person around, noticing what's around you. Compliment somebody when they do a good job. Compliment that and be sincere. Sincerity is so key on all this. But when somebody does something, you spend a lot of time on this, and man, it shows. Nice. I appreciate that. You're recognizing that their effort, first of all, but not only that, they did a good job. This wasn't easy. A lot of people, they'll come back with, it's no big deal. Maybe they have a knack for it, and they'll diminish a lot of times their efforts. But no, I can tell there's a lot of hard work here. Thanks. This is great. Boom. Did that cost you anything? Just a minute, an acknowledgement. Maybe you're the only one that complimented them on this. Maybe their boss doesn't think it's worth crap. Maybe they're thinking about quitting their job. Maybe they're questioning, are they doing the right thing? No, this is great. It doesn't have to be in a work environment. This could be, one of your children. It could be your wife. It could be somebody at the golf course. Whenever you see someone has put forth effort, acknowledge that. And just the small acts. Sometimes I remember I had a dear friend that we worked together, and we would go to New York from time to time, and we would be in meetings, and I would talk. I just casually mentioned at that time I flew JetBlue from Long Beach, California to New York, and they gave, at that time, it's been years, they gave you Lorna Doones, the little snack crackers, and I don't know, just in casual conversation, I let her know that, JetBlue got my Lorna Doones. Well, what she started doing is I would get there and there'd be a couple of packs of Lorna Doones at my seat. She set all the seating charts and everything, but there would be, by mine, there would be that little gift. And I appreciated it so much. Not only that she heard something I liked and didn't make a big deal out of it then, but went to the effort to go buy that because she knew I was coming to town. That is so small. She had a lot of other stuff to do, managing the whole meeting, doing all that, but she put that there. And I'm a hugger anyway, but I appreciated that so much, and I let her know. Hey, if I was cutting carbs and came in and there's those Lorna Doones, man, I'd eat them. Somebody's got to do it. So special, those little things. But that was her way of giving to me. But her gift was how much I appreciated it. So that was in response. Thank you so much. I appreciate. That's just unbelievable. It's fantastic, and it's so minor. How long does it take to say thank you? I appreciate this so much, because that's over the top. Very minor in the grand scheme of things. Also, when someone's doing better at something, and these are things you're not going to find this person, you're just seeing them. And this happens so often. And this is anywhere, homework or play. I can, when I notice I noticed my wife doing something, and it's maybe it's something that just makes more sense the way she's doing it now than what she used to do, or an order that she's doing it. Where used to it would take so long, and now she's changed the order. Just say, hey, you're doing that in half the time now. What did you change? Acknowledging that fact, noticing the small things when something is done. When somebody, whether it's sports, one thing that I do a lot is, and I'm not trust me, I am not a skilled speaker, but when I notice someone improving, maybe they were terribly nervous, or maybe they don't have a grasp of the material, and then I'll see them later and they're a lot smoother or whatever. Nobody needs a pat on the back more than someone that's in public speaking or presenting. And because when people don't know this, but when people, after every presentation, no matter how great it is, they start thinking about things they could have done. That's why I don't watch these and I don't edit them. I just go. But everybody does. So that pat on the back, or that, oh, that was great, or just a thumbs up, something. But noticing that they're improving and they're doing better, that might be what keeps them going. And it's just a thumbs up, a smile, a head nod. That can be the difference in someone quitting. That might be at a time when, this is the last one. I can't tell you the number of times where my band, Barbed Wire, it's not my band, it's James's band, but I'm a part of it. Love James, great leader. But we'll have a series of shows at a particular venue. Maybe maybe once a month over the course of 4 months. And, after 3, it's just like, this is really not the place for us, or we're not really connecting or something like that. Never fails. The last gig that we would have, we go in not expecting much, and it's over the top. They love us. It's just like we're rock stars coming in. And it's like, we needed that. We may come back. We may do it. Or golfers. Remember? You hate golf. Goodness. You want to quit. After hole 4, you're thinking, how can I get through this? And then all of a sudden on 17 or 18, you kill that drive, or you hit that great approach shot. That's all you needed to bring you back. Sometimes your comment or your acknowledgement, that's all they need. Their whole day is better. So is yours. So is yours. But in some people's just unique strengths. One thing that I appreciate so much, Kira, is she's helping me out. She's my intern. I've got an intern. She's going to UNC Wilmington. Her strengths is social media and doing these clips and all of this stuff. I appreciate her so much because that is not mine. And so whenever she does something or posts something, I try to always tell her, but it's sincere. I need you. I thank God you're here, because you're taking this and making it something that's, not repulsive. And so that's important. I don't have those strengths. And this is a very common thing when you're dealing with people. But make a note of it. When someone's doing something you can't do, going, wow, I could never do that. Good job. And does that cost money? Does that take anything? How many times today has that been the case? And if that's not the case, you're either arrogant or you need to find some more capable people. Just kidding. It's just stuff you notice. Encouraging contributions and acknowledging when people do. Encourage somebody to speak up. One thing that I've said in the past, and especially in teams or a group environment, look, you're here because we want to know what you have to say. And your input might be the part of the formula that gives us the right answer. So if you don't give us your input, it's going to be incomplete. So speak up. I want to hear what you got to say. Don't make me call on you. Speak up. And then when they do, let them know see, that's what I'm looking for. I would have never thought of that. And recognize that. And then, they will contribute more. That's the beautiful thing about that. You've given them the courage, and then you rewarded them when they did that. It's fantastic. I talked about gestures. There is something about sincerity with a smile, a warm smile, or that positive smile, or that gesture, that thumbs up. That used to be my thing. Thumbs up. Come in. All right. Yeah. Now it's giddy up. But I mean, that thumbs up or a smile is so powerful. You know, when you see somebody maybe you're really looking forward to seeing, and then you see each other and you can see it in the smile in the eyes. You may not even be able to talk right now. It might be at a meeting or something. But that smile and your expression, or if somebody's, a comedian, they're talking, and, just give them that positive look and laugh. That is a pat on the back from the crowd. If someone's speaking and they're struggling a little bit, even, it's like, all right, you got this. You see it in tennis a lot. The coaches, they're doing all that because they're not supposed to be talking too much. It's giving that encouragement. That's giving. Did it cost you any money? I mean, if you don't have it in you to do that, well, you need to be given to. But that's how simple these things are. That smile, or the gesture. A lot of it is just, a lot of times the gift is gonna be to somebody that might be struggling, and so the gift of empathy and understanding, or maybe even to the point to where and it could be with health problems or family problems or whatever. I can't comprehend what you're going through, but I don't know what I'd do if I was in your situation. I don't have the answers, but I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. Or that empathy to the point to where I know this is tough, but you can make it. You're stronger than most people. That type of thing. You're going to know what to say, and you don't have to have the answers. A lot of people don't speak up in that situation, or, when someone dies, that I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Well, that's okay. That's good. But you feel like you need to say something, you're not going to make them feel better. But that touch on the shoulder, I'll be thinking about you. That type of thing. They know that. They know it, but you said it. And so and even at work, I know this is going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to spend some extra hours on this. And I know that. Just know that I know how hard you're working. That goes such a long way. And then I've had good managers in the past. Look, you give it your best, and that's going to be enough, but I know you're going to knock it out of the park. I used to tell people, you can't go take a chance. You can't screw this up so bad it's going to mess up the company. And if you mess up, hey, just don't do that again. So that's putting myself in there. That's a form of empathy. I know, hey, I feel for where you are. I've been there myself. Don't strike out with the bat on your shoulder. Go ahead and swing hard and hit that home run. That type of thing. That's free. It's a gift. And then, I think this goes by unrecognized and unnoted a lot. And to me, it should be the opposite of that. Somebody's character, to compliment someone's character or comment on someone's character. I've heard it with people talking to my mom, and after my mom passed, but still, when they're alive, let them hear this. You've always been so kind and considerate. You've always been that, and I admire that. When I talk about the former CEO that I knew, when you were around him, you felt like you were the only person in the room. And I finally got to tell him that. And I told him how I changed the furniture in my office like his. And I told him, I said, because when you talked to me, I felt like I was the only person in the room. And that meant so much to me. Okay, I don't need to build the CEO's self-esteem or whatever. But I know he appreciated that. And I felt good acknowledging that. He helped me. I wanted to let him know. And that's giving. But you want to also, in other things, you want to reinforce that positive behavior. I remember with my son one time, it was a Halloween thing. He was young, and he had so much more candy than somebody else, and so he took some candy out of his bag and threw it in theirs, because now they weigh about the same. He's going to get plenty of candy. It wasn't a big deal. And I don't know how grandiose that gesture was to him, but I thought of that after I was looking at this. You know what? That's selfless. Here, have some of mine. That's being a giver with no real consequence. It's fantastic. And I remember my daughter has done that many times. I've heard her encouragement of other people when they're trying to do things, whether it's dance or it's whatever. That encouragement is so important. And attitude. HR doesn't like you to talk about attitude. But when you compliment somebody's attitude, that needs to be the gift that keeps on giving, because attitudes are horrible. You got a negative attitude, I'm going to correct you. I'm not going to find a compliment on that. You know what I'm going to say? Not with that attitude. You'll never exceed with that attitude. But when you're positive, it's contagious. You know what? You're always so positive when you walk in here. You always got a smile on your face. You got a can-do attitude. They may not give, they probably will, but they may not give in any other way, but to just be positive. And not positive toward you or positive toward you. It's positive. That lifts the room. You need to tell them, thank you so much for that. You make this much better. You make this crappy project less crappy. You make things that suck less. He may not be good at the compliments, but that's it. Let them know, oh, your attitude is so great. And if that negative person switches, and I've always said the negative person, you know, that Debbie Downer always, when they have a positive attitude or comment about something, whoa, that goes a long way. Let them know. You just notice that. You know, you don't have to say usually you're Debbie Downer, and today you weren't quite so horrible. That's not the way you say it. But notice it and say something. And I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, teamwork, acknowledge people on your team. I could have never done this without you. You did this and you did that. I remember when, at one point, I've done it less, and shame on me. But I remember when I would have small groups, 10 to 12 of people, and I could go around and I would talk about each person at the end. You know, I usually say, what do you want to accomplish? All these different things. And I would go through and call them by name, because I had name tags. I'm horrible with names. But I'd talk to that and mention something positive they did. And I'd go around. And by the end, everybody was just smiling. And I got through about 6 people, and the others were like, oh, what's he going to say about me? Oh, what's he going to say about me? But I would talk about what they've done and how I appreciated that. And this whole atmosphere wouldn't have been as good without you. And it was sincere. It's not talking salesman talk. It's sincere. Thank you for your opinion. I don't agree, but you've made me think, and I appreciate that. See how easy that is? So that's a big part of it. I talk triggers. I love triggers. So you may be thinking, Dave, you saying this stuff, that's just not how I am, man. That ain't me. I'm not one of these complimenters. I'm not one of these people that do this. I'm not one of these people. Well, maybe you should be, because I just went over in detail how it's going to help you. I'm not asking you to give somebody $20. I'm not asking for you to spend half your day at a soup kitchen. So let's think about it. What are some triggers that can help you start giving more? Because the more you give, the more you get. When someone does something for you, I got four quick ones. When someone does something for you, they think of you and do something for you, not just thanks. No. Thank you. That was so thoughtful. I really appreciate that. I'm serious. Thanks, man. That's all you got to do. You've acknowledged it. For some people, over the moon. But at least it's more than thanks. some people, they expect it, so they'll say thanks, but they don't. You can tell it's not for. So when someone does something for you, thank them for it. Another thing, when someone hands you something. So think about this. So they're handing out papers at a meeting. Thank you. Thanks. Well, I mean, just restaurants. When they bring you something. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. At the end, you did a really great job. Thank you. But use your manners. Mom and Dad taught us this a long time ago. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't care how old you are. I usually try not. I don't really like it when young people call me sweetheart or something like that. I call everybody darling, so all you people think I'm a hypocrite. I just do it. Sorry about that. But the sincerity around when somebody hands you something. Thank you. What are you going to do? Or, oh, what's this for? If you're not sure, let them explain it. Have an interaction rather than, because a lot of people that are doing this are more on the menial side of whatever's happening. Whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a corporate meeting, if it's in here, if I'm in the other room and, my daughter or my son would bring me something. Oh, thanks. What's this? Engage. Don't do it as just a throwaway. Here's another one. And I'm not being a pervert here, but when someone's wearing or using something that you notice is cool or a nice color, or maybe it's a gadget or something, that's a trigger. Oh, man. I like those. I like that vest. I like that vest there. I don't, that's a nice color there. And it's not as hot. I've been looking for something that's not as hot. I don't like sleeves. Yeah, where'd you get that? Or something about it. I just made up the vest thing. But a lot of times still, I'll see people, it could be anything from pens or organizers or, playing golf or something like that. You notice people with something different. Notice it and comment on it. And ask, if it's really something you like, you're being sincere. But if it's something, one of my things, like kids, they'll come around. I know my buddy's son, Connor, he'll come around. He's got some of the coolest shoes. Dude, look at those shoes. Man, I could run so fast in those. Oh, they just beam. Or I'll say, it'll be sharks on his shoe. I went, oh man, nice snake shoes. Just to engage. But it's noticing it. And noticing it will tell you what to say. Now you have to be, careful with men and women. If I see a woman and, there's certain things, you're just pervy if you do it. Like, ooh, nice material. I'd like to, No, you don't do that. We know better. That's not going to lift her up. And if it does, you probably need to get the heck out of there. But just notice something. Oh, I love that color. It's my favorite color. That's Kentucky blue. Or, if you're in a certain part of the country, if a certain team, you comment on the team, but engage. And it's whatever, a lot of times, and I shouldn't do this a lot, but whatever's in your mind, let it come out and give to that person. Make them smile. Make them stop. Make them acknowledge. You acknowledge that they're there. Sometimes that's all it takes. And of course, when you're greeting someone or when you're departing, sometimes hugging's not the right thing, but I'm a hugger. Do you do the high five, the fist bump, the handshake, the double handshake, a little bit of both, who knows? Acknowledge their presence and you're here. Good to see you, man. Good. How long's it been? Make it more than just hi. Yeah. And of course, my trick is it's good to see you, not good to meet you because you met them 6 weeks ago and you forgot. So, good to see you. Really good to see you. It's been a while. Can't wait for this meeting. You always make it fun. It costs nothing. And of course, when you're leaving, that's when usually people just get the heck out of there. Give them a minute. And if you can't get to everybody, hey, everybody, I got to go. Good to see you. Can't wait to see you again. Something like that. Engage. The more specific you can be, the more of a gift it is. But don't don't forget. So those are just 4 triggers. When somebody does something for you, when somebody hands you something, when somebody's wearing or using something that you like, and when you're arriving or departing. So I put this to the test. I put it to the test. All right, Dave, is this real? Is this real? And so I decided, okay, for one morning, I'm going to, I didn't use the clicker, but I remember this morning and what I did. So in this particular morning, I was on the road. I got up, and usually I have my routine. I've got the TV on, and I'm doing whatever. And so I do a few things in the room before I leave. So I remember 10 emails. I sent them, and that most of them were about the day before, because that night I didn't get to it. So the next morning, before I go out, before block 1, I sent these emails. Hey, thanks so much for the time yesterday. Quick recap. Thanks for your participation, blah, blah, blah. 10 emails about the day before. But 5 of them asked for something. So thanks for this, da-da-da-da. Hey, could you do this for me by the end of the week? It's going to help with the next steps, yada, yada. Okay, got that, got everything squared away. I go to the elevator. I'm in the elevator. I'm going down the elevator. My feet were killing me because at this particular place, I had to wear steel-toe shoes, and they weren't broke in. And I look at this guy next to me in the elevator, which is usually a stare at the numbers type thing. It's 3 stories is all we were going down. I said, man, those look like comfortable boots. What kind are those? And he told me, and I said, my feet are killing me. He said, these changed everything for me. I used to be the same way. He's a big old boy too. Man, I'm going to check that out. So you recommend them? All right. Alrighty. Then I go in. Usually I don't eat the full breakfast there at these quick get it and go places, but I get coffee, and I just look around to see if anything's different. And I look around, and this lady said, can I help you with something? I went, no, but wow, you put all this out? What time did you start this morning? Goodness. Well, just a coffee for me, but this looks great. And I left. And then I was leaving the parking lot, and, somebody's cut me off. And so, I let them out, didn't honk the horn, didn't tell them they were number 1. And then this lady was walking across the parking lot. So I stopped and waved her through, come on through, it's all good. And rolled the window down, and I put a thumbs up and said, you got to be careful, some crazy drivers here. She thought I was a crazy driver. But that's, that engagement. And then I got out. I remember getting on the ramp, and I can't remember what it was, but I saw something that reminded me of my buddy and a time that we had done something. So real quickly, I just sent him a text, texting and driving. Okay, all right. What are you, the highway patrol? But I texted him, said, I just saw this, and it reminded of you. Remember the time, and blah, 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 and boom, which created some back and forth, which is cool. And then on that drive, I received several phone calls, and it was people responding to what I'd asked for earlier. Those emails earlier that day. And so, thanks for calling me. I'm driving. I don't have time to do a lot of, texting and back and forth, but that's exactly what I was looking for. Can you send that to me in a document? Whatever that was, but it was engaging. And the way I answered the phone is not, I got in the habit of, hey, this is David. This is David. I started, now I can see it, because if they're in my phone and I know who's calling, it's, Neil, dude, it's great to hear from you. What's going on? Boom. It starts with the gift. But you address them. You know who it is. If it's not, okay, I'm going to get that. If you don't know who that is calling, I may not answer. But it's, that's more of the normal stuff. But, that's what I would do. And then, of course, I'm of a certain age where I can't pass a rest stop without using the bathroom. So I went to the rest stop, and there was a guy. I was in northern Nevada, and there was I saw it, a bumper sticker. It was Alabama bumper sticker. Well, I'm from Alabama. But anyway, we were about the same. We were walking to the restroom, because that's why we had to stop. And I just went, roll tide. And he looked at me and went, roll tide, buddy. That's what Alabama people do. I went, man, you are a long way from home. And he said, yeah, I'm retired. It's me and my wife. And he pointed back. She obviously didn't have to go, which I don't understand. he said, this is, I'm retired, and this is like a trip of a lifetime. We're touring all over. And this is as we're walking to the restroom. And I said, man, that's great. It reminds me of my parents. They did the same thing. Well, good for you, man. Be careful. You deserve it. Use the bathroom and go back. Then I met somebody for lunch. This is, of course, you can tell I had to drive for a while because now it's lunchtime. And, it was good to the waitress. Thank you. Can I get a seat for two away because we're going to be kind of loud, that kind of thing. And thank her for that extra stuff and all of that. Then the guy I met for lunch, I said, man, I have been looking forward to it. I know we only have a little bit, but I told her to get us away from everybody because I know we're going to be loud. And he said, oh, you're right. All of that. And I didn't even count them, but all of that. And I know I didn't capture all of them. It didn't cost me any extra money. It really didn't cost me any extra time. But it is that conscious effort to notice when someone does something for you, when someone hands you something, when someone has something that you'd like or want to use, when someone responds, and it's easy. And I got to tell you, you do this all day and it's part of what you do, the feedback you get back, you're going to have a better day. All of the things we said earlier, now you got all this stuff that happens and it brings you down or whatever, you can still be a good person and you can give. You can give of your time. You can give of your enthusiasm. I am more #blessed than most people. I get that. But the more you try to lift other people up, they're gonna drag you with them. They're gonna drag you with them. So giving and receiving, it's the same thing. I challenge you to notice that. Purple car theory. You see it. You notice that opportunity to thank somebody and comment, to lift them up, give them encouragement. You don't have to be a missionary to do this kind of stuff. So go for it. You'll feel better. I promise you. And if you don't, let me know. Tell me your stories. I love hearing them. So thanks for listening. I appreciate it. I started to wear a Santa Claus hat for this. I'm talking about giving. It makes my head sweat. But I appreciate you listening. Hit me up at david@otalks.com or dave@otalks.com. I read them all. I love them. Otalks Official on Instagram and TikTok. Kira's doing a great job helping me out with that and all the videos, YouTube, all these things. I just appreciate it more than you know. Otalks.com, you can see what's going on, where I'm going, and all the stuff back here that you can buy, but I don't sell. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave, and giddy up. Ha!